Sọ̀rọ̀ mi dayọ̀, mo dúpẹ́. Hallelujah. I don't know why I'm singing that song, but that's what I feel like singing tonight. How you guys doing? This is Abimbola Victoria Olide, aka Queen Billion. So I attended the Excellence in Leadership Conference last week, Thursday and Friday online, and it was mind-blowing. And guess what? The theme of the year was mind shift. Mind shift. And as a mind shift coach, you can imagine my excitement, and I was so pumped up to, just soaking all of the knowledge and soaking all of the vibes that was going to be shared at the conference. And I dare say ELC 2023 did deliver. We had the likes of Folake, Odediran, Bovi, Ugbomah, Pastor Sam Adeyemi, Dr. Sam Adeyemi, Dr. Nike Adeyemi, and Pastor Chris. It was really beautiful because I did learn a lot. It was a whole lot to learn. But majorly for me, my two favorite, and then Ellen Paul. My top three were in the rank, so how will I rank them? How do I rank them now? But in no particular order, anyways. I loved Folake Odediran, I loved Bovi, and I really loved Ellen Paul, and of course Pastor Chris. He really said something. So let me even start from there. There was something that he said the second day about the fact that your mind is the engine of your life, and to bring it home, he said he was going on the street one day, and then he saw a man driving a beautiful Mercedes Benz, and it was like, wow, that's a really lovely car, but the car seemed not to be moving. So he went to meet the owner of the car to say, oh guy, your car is very nice, so but what's going on, what's not moving? And then the guy said, oh, it has Nissan engine. How can a Mercedes Benz have a Nissan engine? How do you expect it to work? And for me, that was just like, any other thing that he said was just Jara, because if you don't have the right mindset or the right if you don't have a shift in your mind, you are headed nowhere. A lot of people look like they're going somewhere, but they obviously are headed nowhere because their mind, which is the engine of their body, it have knock. It doesn't match what they are projecting on the outside. They are carrying about a Mercedes body, but their engine is Nissan. So how the two of them work together? So you need to have a mind shift. If you have the wrong mindset, whatever mindset that you have, it can be upgraded, it can be elevated, it can be better. Mindset can be better. So from there, so I'm starting in order of how the guest speakers appeared. So then the next person I'm going to talk about is Ellen Paul. Oh my God, her story was phenomenal. It was really, really mind-blowing. It's a case of never judge a book by its cover. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a reason why they are the way they are. So you can imagine, for someone, if you're very familiar with Lagos, Nigeria, Fadeyi, very notorious with a lot of area boys and very rugged, rough environment for a child to grow up in. And so that made her very, streetwise, very tough, and very, audacious, and all of everything in between. And coming from a mother that just gave birth to her and then gave her to her mother, no father figure, nothing. Before she was even named, it was a tug of war. Her mother couldn't figure out a name to give her. It took like a prophet to say, oh, the first person that helped you when you had this child, a name, that's the person you should name the child after. Now, surname, nobody was willing to give her the surname. Even the siblings of the mother were not willing to give, because she had to be living with her grandmother, were not willing to share their surname with her. And a man from nowhere, maybe in their compound, just said, okay, give her my surname. You can just imagine what that does to the mindset of a child growing up to feel like nobody loves you, nobody wants you, even your kinsmen, even people that a part of your blood is flowing through their veins, they are not willing. It's crazy, and it's not too far-fetched, because I have had similar experiences of feeling out of place, of feeling like, even like people that are related to me, like, I feel like, what's the whole, like, I don't know. But the truth is that I will just say this, like, you never know what anybody's gonna become. So why can't you just be kind? Why can't you just be nice to people? The mere fact that you even have a portion of your blood flowing through their vein is enough reason why you should even be civil. But a lot of people don't even have civility in their blood at all. They just have this mindset of, because the girl, Ellen Paul, happens to be, in their mind, a bastard, they don't want to associate. Who are you? Is God, at least God allowed her to be conceived. He allowed her to be birthed. So what is now your own? I don't know. If you have this kind of horrible mindset whereby you just hate on people for no reason, you need a mind shift. You need a serious mind. You need a serious overhaul of your mind, because everybody's got a destiny to fulfill. Imagine Jesus. People time, I'm sure people were probably whispering bastard here and there because of what happened between Joseph and Mary, and how Mary became pregnant and all of those things. So you can imagine, so if Jesus himself, could have even gone through that, we need to be careful, because God allowed, David too was tagged the bastard. Like, all these people, they ended up being one of the greatest set of people in history. So we need to be careful how we even treat people just because of how they came to be. It's just that the father figure is not present, and so we need to change our mindset about how we treat people, especially if you feel like, oh, you were there when they were born or something, or you feel like they were not born under the circumstances that is that gets approval from you, or societal approval, or cultural approval. You need to have a mind shift, because it is not in your place to judge people, to say like, oh, you are better than them, or you are this, or you are that. You need to be very careful. And one of the other things that she shared about her story is the fact that it has made her to not trust people, and when you have to be there for yourself by yourself, and that it's only, but you can only trust yourself. You only know what you're feeling for yourself. You only know that, okay, whatever you're doing it for your own good. You don't know what the other person is thinking. So it made her very suspicious and all of those things. But hey, you can't blame the girl. So when you meet people and they're overly defensive and they're overly, protective of themselves, you can't really blame them. But it's good if you can actually just calm down and try to understand their story, understand where they are coming from, and that would probably help you to know how to better treat them and let them know that you're actually there for them. That's if you're actually going to be there for them, because many people are out there to just take. They are just out there to use people, and we should not be so. It shouldn't be so. It shouldn't be so. We need to have more empathy for people. We need to love people more. We need to just treat people better. We need to treat people better, because hearing Ellen Paul's story and how she was able to mention all the people that cheated her while she was growing in her career, and how when she became a doctor, it became difficult for people to like relate with her. And I'm wondering, like, what exactly is our problem? I don't know if it's an African thing or if it's a global thing, but whatever it is, like, and she said something like, if it's a child that God has given the glory, why can't you just allow the child to breathe? Let people breathe. Let people be able to actually shine, because the sky is big enough for everybody to shine. That is the truth. But a lot of people just feel like if this person is shining, then they're like, need to come to the world with your own candle. You understand? We watched a lot of movies, that are drawn from real life stories of mothers feeling like, oh, if the child of my rival does well, then that would affect the glory of their own child. I don't understand this kind of mindset. We need to stop it. We need to be better. We need to do better. We cannot continue to be I don't even know how to put it, but we need to do better. We need to change our mindset. So Ellen Paul's story was really, really mind shifting, because she was able to bring home the fact that people are not always how you think that they are. Don't just assume that people are mean or people are this. They've gone through rough paths. Gone through very, very difficult times. So if you can't be there for them and just empathize with them and try to understand their story, understand where they are coming from, don't judge them. Because even you that you're judging somebody, you have your own baggage that you're carrying up and down. Yeah. So Ellen Paul's story was really beautiful, and when people achieve things, the Bible said it, like, rejoice with those who rejoice. So why can't you just rejoice that somebody is making it in their life? If it's doctorate that you want, like she says, go and buy it in Cotonou, or you work for it. She worked for her own. So kini big deal. So we really need to have a mind shift of actually being genuine and loving people, and not just being biased, being prejudiced, having this kind of mindset that just doesn't make us, good people. And then now moving on to Bovi. Bovi's session was hilarious. It was so funny. It was really, really funny. But even in all of the jokes, there was a whole lot of sense. And one of the salient things that he said was the fact that we have a culture of shame in Nigeria. Everybody tries to do bragado, everybody tries to do this and that just because they're trying to prove a point, just because they are trying to say that I'm better than you, and there is a system, and this thing has actually been built into the system in which we are raised up, and we don't even know. Case in point, you are in secondary school. As soon as you enter secondary school from JS1, whoever that is in JS2 is your senior, and then they have the license to bully you, and then you grow up in that kind of environment, and then by the time you leave secondary school, such kind of thing does not really exist in university. Then you find people joining cults, you understand? And then when they finish cults, they come out of the university, and then they start looking for a secret society to join, and then when they get into the position of power, they start looking for more people to oppress, and it goes on and on and on. Can you see the trajectory? So we need to become better in the things that we are actually building in Nigeria, because a whole lot of things that are going wrong is born out of shame, is born out of the fact that I don't want this person to look better than me. I want to look better than this person. I want to feel among. I want to feel superior. I want a minimum one bed and me the rain. All of those kind of things. That is why we have so many Yahoo boys that are just trying to prove a point. What point are you trying to prove? You are just 17, you're 18, you're 21. Why do you need to ride a Benz? I don't understand it. Do you understand? Like, why do you need to ride a Benz? Why can't you just follow through with the way and manner in which things happen in succession? You get? Why do you need to kill your girlfriend or kidnap people just so that you can buy a car? Look at it. It's a culture of shame, because you don't want this person to talk to you anyhow. You feel like you have arrived. You feel like you are all that. You feel like you are the best thing after sliced bread. We need to change our mindset. We need a mind shift as a people. And like he said, like Bovi said, we need to start teaching love in our schools, from kindergarten all through university, because there is no love in Nigeria. I won't lie to you, there is no love. Everybody is individualistic. Everybody wants their own corner to be the best. They don't care what else is happening in the environment. You will see potholes, you will see bad roads, you will see everywhere bad. And then the big man is coming with his big Prado or his Land Cruiser, and he splash water on everybody and goes into his compound, and everywhere in his compound is like Little London. You understand? I mean, we are too individualistic in our approach, and there is no way we can build a country together when everybody is just trying to make their own corner good at the expense of the other person. Kole work. We need to, start looking at things from the angle of, love. We need to start loving ourselves genuinely as a people. And I think that's where the real mind shift begins. That's where the real mind shift that, look, love your neighbor as yourself, just like the word of God says. Of all of the three, the greatest is love. If we don't have love, then what do we have as a nation? We need, mind shift, breaking the cultural barriers, breaking the stereotypes and all that. It begins with love, because if your culture is full of love, you will not feel like this tribe should not marry this tribe. You will not feel like this person should not get a job because they are not from your village. Do you understand? You are first, I don't know how to even put it, but you are first a Nigerian before they start even disintegrating that, so you are this or you are that. Because if they ask you what's your nationality, you're a Nigerian, regardless of which part of Nigeria you were born. You understand? So I think we need to start, being conscious of the fact that love is the most excellent way. Love is the thing that would actually change Nigeria. Because if our politicians are and our leaders are acting or taking actions from the position of love, Nigeria will be a better country. But as long as everybody is practicing the culture of shame, like I cannot be a senator and I will not have 20 houses or $5 million stashed somewhere. Do you get the fact that if you don't steal, people will even shame you and say like, why will you be a public servant and you have not arrived? You understand? That mindset, we need to change it. We need to have a serious mindset, because like we are our own problem. And like I was telling someone yesterday, look, the politician, leave those ones, the leaders, leave those ones. You as a Nigerian, you are the Nigerian problem that Nigeria has, because your mindset about leadership itself is already crooked. You see leadership from the position of oppression. You see leadership from the position of I'm a ruler, I want to rule over you. You don't see leadership from a position of service or a position of love or a position of service. Yes, a position of service, a position of positive influence, a position of impact. If you don't see leadership from then, you are the number one problem that Nigeria has, because you will get there also and still do worse than all these people that are there have done. That is the raw truth. So we need, as Nigerians, need to have a mind shift. We need to have a change in our mind, a serious over all of our mind, and be able to do the right thing part time. So like, Bovi said a whole lot of things at the ELC 2023, but for me, it comes down to, we need to stop practicing the culture of shame, and we need to start loving ourselves more. And one of the things that he said that we need to stop is the fact that is the seniority cadre when it comes to just 1 to just 3. How all of this disparity and this power tussle begins in our society. So we need to have a serious mind shift. It is very, very, very necessary, because man, this thing is ruining us, is tearing apart the fabric of our society, and we need to nip it in the bud. But it begins with you and I. And then Folake Odediran, oh my God, I did shed a tear or two while she was sharing her story, because it was really, really gobsmacking. It was emotional, and how she ended it, observing a minute silence for all her loved ones that have died, because it's apparently she's a middle-aged woman in her 40s and she's not married, but she has lost all her loved ones, so she's technically the only one left in the world by herself. And she made the congregation having 1 minute silence for her loved one. But her story was so beautiful, because she was born in the most unconventional environment, in the most bastardly way you can imagine. Her mother just got pregnant. Till today she doesn't know who her father is, and she grew up if I remember, this Sabongeri or something like that. She had this beautiful northern intonation, And you know, she grew up, she was born in the north, she had to live with her grandmother and all of that. And you know, she you know, when they look at a sea of people and they say who is the least likely to succeed, she's probably going to make the top list of people least likely to succeed. Because number one, if you hear her English, it's clean English, but she grew up, you know, singing nursery rhymes in Hausa, you get. And you know, she grew up in an environment whereby it's, you know, we all know about almanjiris and all of those guys, and you know, child marriage, you know, from the age of maybe 9, 10, 12, get married, they you know, all of those kind of things. All the odds were stacked against her, but she is flying high today. And her story was so beautiful because she also mentioned something about something that she was topping the class and her friends were sort of jealous or angry with her, and she made a statement that people don't be angry with people when they react negatively to your success. It's not because they hate you. Sometimes it's because they just don't even understand how to process it. They just don't know. They just don't know that they just don't know how to react. So just give people room, you know, to just be themselves, because sometimes they just don't know how to respond or to react. A lot of people react, they don't respond. A lot of people don't know that they should celebrate with people that celebrate. They just feel like their natural default, their natural response is just jealousy. Their natural response is just to snare at you and be wondering like, sure, what they cannot shy funny, sure, is it only you that has, you know, that kind of thing. So she mentioned an incident of how one of her friends called her, that she came first in class, and then the girl insulted her and called her that she walks like a duck. And you know, and she said that she got home and she was moping, and grandma didn't say anything, and she cried, she wailed, she cried in soprano, cried in alto, cried in tenor, and grandma didn't still didn't say anything. And then grandma eventually said, so what happened? She said, is it not, she said it in Yoruba, that it was so funny, you know, the way she was switching between Yoruba, Hausa, and English was so mind-blowing. And then she said like, oh, that her friend said she was walking like a duck. And then grandma asked a very beautiful and brilliant question, are you a duck? You know, and for me that was just beautiful. You know how we get upset and how we get angry that somebody said something negative to us, and then it hits us to our bone marrow, and then we start crying, and then we feel bad, and then we start, you know, but then that's because you have not settled the issue of who you are, the issue of your identity. And you know, that moved her to, you know, the point one on having how to have a mind shift. At point one on having a mind shift is you need to identify who are you. You know, we are created in the image of God. So are you do you see yourself in the image of the one who has created you, or you just see yourself as a human being in flesh, a body? Do you see yourself as a spirit, soul and body, or you just see yourself as one of the billions of people that is living on the earth? You get? So you need to settle the case of your identity, because if you settle the case of your identity, whatever anybody says to you, it is for their pocket, because you know who you are. You know who you are. Because that also reminded me of something that happened to me in secondary school also. This one was not even a case of I was coming first or anything. There was just this very abusive boy. You know, right now, the impulse spirit wants to jump on me and I want to mention his name, but I will not mention his name. But because you can even, I still remember. And the boy insulted me. I can't even remember anything that he said, but I remember feeling so bad, as I was so upset. So I got home, but thank God my mom also asked me what's wrong, and I told her, and then she said like, when somebody says something like that to you, you need to settle who you are internally and then give them the response. So what Folake's grandmother asked her was like, okay, so since you are not a pepeye, did you tell her you're not? What was your response? She said she didn't say anything. Like, you didn't say anything, okay? That same night, she left home to go to a friend's mother's house. So she didn't meet her friend at home, but she met the girl's mother at home. And she decided to leave the message for the girl. And so the mother like, ẹ máa sọ fún tó bá dé pé mi ò kí ń ṣe pẹ́pẹ́yẹ tí mo bá sì wá jẹ́ pẹ́pẹ́yẹ sọ́lọ́ nǹkan ló dá mi ní. No, you need to go and watch ELC 2023 Folake Odediran. She was phenomenal. And and she told the mother of the girl, like she had, she was able to have the boldness to go and tell the girl. But when she didn't meet the girl, she met the mother and told the mother of like, tell your daughter that I said that I am not a dog, and even if I am a dog, it's God that made me, And I think this is just like a build up on what on my last live when I was talking about be encouraged, like you need to just settle within you. Who are you? Who are you? You need to settle the case of your identity. Don't be having identity crisis. You are made in the image of God, and God said, be fruitful and have dominion. Have dominion, have dominion. So if you're not living in dominion, then you're already going against the word of God. You're already not doing what God said you should do. You get what I mean? If you are not living in dominion, if you don't know in your knower, if you do not have that conviction that God made you and there's nothing anybody can do about it. In my last life, I was like, these people that used to yab people, they can't even make a fly. So why should anybody that cannot make a fly make you feel any less than you should feel? You get what I mean? So if anybody has ever called you a name that is not your own, please, it is not your own. Abi, when your mother and your father when they gave birth to you and they were naming you, did they name you dog? Did they name you stupid? Did they name you bastard? Did they name you any name that is not your own? No. So why should you collect what they are saying? Because people will always talk out of their own frame of reference. They will always say things from the wealth of their knowledge. They will always, or the poverty of their knowledge. Yeah, for lack of a better. Because you have to really be poor in your mind to look at the whole human being and call a human being a dog. You have to really be poor in your mind to look at the whole human being and call a whole human being a monkey or a mosquito. You have to really have poverty of the mind for you to look at the whole human being and call the person a poewa. Yeah, I remember, oh gosh, right now, I just remember, like, I used to hear some people call somebody, a sack of beans, like, because the person was really big and, just has, when you drop, when you drop a sack of beans, how it's, has that figure and just sits down there. You can imagine, human beings have bad mouths, sharp. People have bad mouths. But at the end of the day, if anybody has so case in point, like for me, like people have called me all sort of names, but that's for your pockets. That's for your pockets. And if you call me one, I'll call you 10, because what makes you think that you have the right to actually call me a name that is not my own? Have I told you that that's my name? I told you my name is Abimbola Victoria Olide, so why should you call me anything else? And I gave you an option, call me Queen Billion. So if you can't call me any of those, like, then you may try to keep quiet. Keep quiet. So, number one, Folake Odediran, settle the case of your identity. Have the right identity of who you are. And, success is who you are, not what you are. And she also shared another story of how they went to one of her auntie's houses and she was chasing a cat to feed it, and her mother and grandmother saw and said, why you? She said it to you. It was really beautiful, very beautiful story. That and she said, oh, she was chasing the cat to feed it, and her grandmother was like, no, to feed a cat you need to attract the cat. Like, wow, you don't chase the cat to feed it, you attract it. So also, success is who you are. You attract success. I hope somebody got that. Whatever you are chasing, you shouldn't be chasing, you should be attracting it. And that is how the laws of the universe works. Mindset. Whatever is in your mind has to be powerful enough to attract the semblance of what the images that you have been printed in your mind. That's story for another day. But success is who you are, and you need to live up to that name, up to that expectation. Then the number two thing that she also spoke about is that becoming is about managing disappointments. She was disappointed in a whole lot of the things that was happening in a company. You know, she wasn't getting promoted when she was supposed to get promoted. They didn't give her the right nomenclature, blah 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 blah. But her mother eventually came into the picture, and then, you know, encouraged her on what to do to stay put and all of that. It also reminded me of how my mom kept encouraging me to stay in banking till it was 10 years, and I eventually left. Sorry for another day. But, you know, she had someone to encourage her to stay put, and she grew in ranks, and now she's one of, you know, the country lead for a global company and all of those things. So you need to understand that becoming is about managing disappointment. How do you handle disappointment? When you get disappointed, when you don't get that promotion, do you start cursing? Do you become irritable? Do you become angry? Or do you take it to God and let God sort you out and let you know that, okay, yeah, you might have been expecting it, but it's not yet time? Because sometimes we don't have the capacity to handle the blessings that we're asking for. So you need to just trust God that, okay, we are putting it to time. And if it is time and it is the enemy that is playing ping pong with you, take it up with God and let God settle you, you know. And then the third thing she said was that you need to redefine. What do you do when the ground on which you stand shifts? When things that didn't used to matter begin to matter. If you don't trust what God has been saying, why should he keep talking? That one hits me like, God. Redefine. You know, when she got to that crossroad where she had lost everyone, her mother died, her grandmother died, her brother died, and I think she said her sister or her auntie died. You know, everyone that was ever, you know, like close to her died. The ground on which she was standing had shifted. There was nobody to talk to, no one to turn to. Say, what do you do when the ground on which you are standing shifts? God have mercy. God have mercy, which is why God should be our backbone. You know, in as much as we have human beings to, you know, to lean on, family to lean on, the most important ingredient in this our life, on our sojourn on this earth, is God. And we need to hold on to God. You need to redefine your focus. You need to redefine what is important to you. You know, at that time when she had lost everyone, then she began to, you know, get worried or start to wonder about, okay, now she doesn't have anybody. Her mother didn't get to see her marry. Neither did her mother get to see her become a mother. You know, all of those thoughts began to creep up. And, you know, what do you do at that particular time? Looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith, she decided to just, you know, continue to look up to God. And, you know, that statement, if you don't trust God, trust what God has been saying. So you need to know how to hear God so that you will know what he is saying per time. Because sometimes what God said is not what God is saying. So you need to go know what God is saying per time in your life. And that was just really, really remarkable. You need to redefine for you to have a mind shift. Because if you have defined that, oh, this is my go-to person, you have defined this is my rock, this is my this, you need to get to the point whereby you redefine, okay, this is what, okay, like, let me use this for example. As a single lady, I had to get to the point whereby I had to redefine what happiness meant to me. I had to redefine that, look, come what may, I've got a life to live and I'm going to live it to the fullest. No matter whether man or no man, I'm going to just live my life. And I think that was when I got the mind shift and the breakthrough and the shift in my mindset. And I became truly happy and I became truly expressive. And I just plunged myself into all the things that I really wanted to do. And, you know, I now began to have a sense of urgency whereby I was like, and truth be told, a lot of things that you know, that I wanted to do, if I had not done them before I got married, you know, a lot of things has changed. I've changed you know, location. So like, even while in Nigeria, going to music studio was like a tug of war, you know, all of those things. But here I am. At least I'm glad that I was able to do all of those things that I did before getting married. And then I am here today and I can reminisce and say, oh, okay, I did that. You get? So you need to redefine. You need to redefine what life means for you. What is God saying? what has God said, what is he saying I should do. So moving on to the next point, and about purpose. You need to know your purpose part time. Your purpose is everything that you were created for, and for your purpose is broken down into assignments. So for each time there is an assignment that you're supposed to fulfill, there is a milestone that you're supposed to, your purpose is like a project. So you need to understand the assignment that God has sent you to do part-time, and then be able to do it, and that way you are fulfilling your purpose for each phase of your life. So you need to understand your purpose. You need to know why you are in a place. You need to know the difference that you're supposed to make in the life of somebody. You need to understand that, okay, fine, this person is in my life for this season. So I think it was Ellen Paul that said about it also, cuts across the purpose. There's a friend for a reason, for season, and for lifetime. There is a friend for a reason, friend for season, friend for a lifetime. I'll say it again: friend for a reason, friend for a season, friend for a lifetime. So if you don't know the purpose for which somebody is in your life, you might be shooting yourself in the foot. So you need to know anything, the job that you have, what's the purpose. For me, when I was before I got a banking job, I wanted to pursue my music, but I wasn't getting sponsorship. So the purpose, and then I wanted to start my fashion business. There was no fun. So the purpose for me getting a job then was because I wanted to fund my dreams. So the job was actually supposed to fund my music dreams, fund my fashion business, fund any other thing that I wanted to do. You understand? Which is why it looked like I was doing a whole lot of things, because that was the purpose. Because if the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. You end up sitting in a career that you're not cut out for, or you end up just being miserable for life. But the reason why I found so much fulfillment, even in all of those years of just being in banking, was because I knew that this thing was my passion. So you get what I mean? So you need to understand the purpose of everything in your life. Some people, I had an epiphany, or is it a revelation, whatever, recently. Or there was someone I wanted to meet some years ago, and it wasn't for anything per se, but I wasn't sure why I needed to meet the person. But some things happened recently, and I caught the idea, and I caught the revelation. I understood that, this was why my spirit man was saying I should reach out to this person that time. I did reach out to the person, but I guess the person was probably in a place in their life where they were willing to just make that connection. But I was able to get that. Everything came into the fullness of time. So you need to understand purpose. I hope all my examples and my explanation will give you clarity as to what purpose in mind shift, in mindset, in shifting your mindset and mind shift is, so that you know the reason why something is, so that you not fixate on. And then you need to know when the season of something has also changed. Yeah, because some people were placed in your life to help you in this particular season, but then that time they were summer for you, but now they have become winter. Don't dwell on it, so that you don't get hurt, and then you don't get disappointed, and you start wondering, why did God forsake? God did not forsake you. It's you that did not listen. So the final thing that she now said about mind shift is the fact that big picture thinking is very necessary. You need write the vision, make it plain, that he may run with it that reads it. If you don't have a vision, what are you living for? You cannot feature in a future that you cannot picture. You cannot feature in a picture that you cannot you cannot feature in a future that you cannot picture. You cannot feature in a future that you cannot picture. You cannot feature in a future that you cannot picture. Okay? And then even if you in your head, recently, I've always known that particular phrase. But recently I was speaking with one of my mentors, and he now said another paradigm. He said sometimes you need to, I need to go now. So I hope this has blessed you, and thank you for coming to my life. Go and watch ELC 2023. Au revoir.